Cybercrime and data security. The rise of cybercrimes over the previous decade has been at the forefront of the news on a daily basis. While most cases of cybercrime happen in far-reaching locations around the world, many have occurred in our country, and more specifically, in our industry. While we enjoy the 24/7 news cycle and the ever-increasing presence on social media, we often, as a result, expose ourselves, our brokers, and our clients to potential harm. The end result is loss of funds, loss of privacy, or at its worst, potential personal injury. What is our role in this matter? How do we protect ourselves and our clients? The first question is, what is the problem? Wire fraud has crept into our industry, whereby criminals gather information regarding a transaction, create a fraudulent email, and send the email to a client offering them updated or new instructions to wire their funds for closing. A buyer who receives one of these emails thinks they are sending the money to the title company, yet might very well end up wiring their funds to a criminal somewhere else in the world, not to the title company closing the transaction. Once those funds are wired, even with the police, FBI, and other agencies involved, the money is typically never recovered. Clearly, if the buyer or their bank makes a mistake in the wiring order, the brokerage might not have any liability. But if the buyer followed the wiring instructions in what turns out to be a fraudulent email, the brokerage might have considerable liability. If the information used was gained from the licensee's accounts, and the evidence proves that the licensee was sloppy and did not protect that data, the brokerage and the licensee have considerable potential liability. As more and more of these issues are identified, agents and brokers take on a heightened obligation on several matters. First, how and where do the criminals gain the information in order to perpetuate this fraud? This typically occurs when the criminals hack the licensee's email account, find the emails relating to a transaction, and build the platform to mask themselves to look like the title company. They then email your client, appearing to be the title company, and they offer revised wiring instructions. Does your email server hold emails containing the buyer's name, address of the property they are buying, the lender, the title company, and other parties' information? Once the criminal hacks the email account, they go to work gaining that information. More on this later. Find the information on social media. While many licensees use social media to find and cultivate new business, many use social media to boast of their success. A posting on social media identifying the excited new buyers, Anna and Marco, who just bought, insert address here, and can't wait to close and move in, is an invitation for criminals to fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle. What else do they need? They need the title company involved, which is possibly in an email on your email server. Thus, between the licensee's email accounts and social media, criminals can collect most, if not all, the information they need to perpetuate the crime. Our disclosure obligation involves a full warning to our clients of the dangers of cybercrime and how it might impact them. While the client cannot control what you or your company does, they can take certain steps to be sure that they won't fall victim to the crime. We all need to take a defensive posture. AAR has published 2 documents that will create a disclosure to the clients about wire fraud, and some sample language for agents and brokers to adopt in their practices to try and avoid the 2 issues described above. Our disclosure obligation is simple. We should alert our clients to proceed with extreme caution when wiring closing funds to the title company. That caution could also be provided to the seller, since they could fall victim to cybercriminals. Remember, typical cybercrimes are a crime of opportunity. Cybercriminals have thousands of ways to perpetrate their crime, and they operate in high speed to find the easiest victims. Easy victims are those that are sloppy, lazy, and not paying attention. A licensee that uses public Wi-Fi does not secure their devices and uses the same password for most, if not all of their accounts are easy targets. Are we able to completely avoid being the cause of wire fraud? No, we can never fully prevent being hacked, but we can make it harder or less beneficial for criminals to hack our emails. Often, these criminals conduct a crime of opportunity, similar to house burglars. House burglars will often pass by the well-lit house with good locks and a warning sign up front, and instead go to the dark, obviously unoccupied house down the street that offers easy, undetected access. Cybercriminals will hack the email accounts that present the easiest access. That occurs when the agent is sloppy or takes the easy way to do their business. Here are some easy, cost-free, or inexpensive ways to protect your data. 1. Take sensitive emails off the server as soon as they are acted upon. Taking emails off the server make it harder for the criminals to find the data they are looking for. That is a setting in the email client on your smartphone, tablet, laptop, or desktop. Learn how to select the device, if you use multiple devices, that will remove the emails from the server. If you use multiple devices, such as a desktop computer at home, a tablet, and a smartphone, and you access email on all of those devices, you should have one device that takes the email off the server. For most applications, that might be the desktop computer. This means that once that computer opens the email, it is removed from the server. When the tablet or smartphone access the same email account, the emails that were opened on the desktop will not appear. 2. Clean out your email folders, especially your sent and trash folders. Your smartphone is the least secure device, yet you might receive emails with client data on that device. While you took the time to delete a sensitive email once you acted upon it, that email now resides in the trash folder. And if you replied to an email that contained client data, that information might be in your sent folders. A criminal that hacks into your device, and then your account might find the information they want in your sent folder and/or your trash folder. 3. Strengthen your passwords. Avoid any combinations of birth date, family important dates, pets' names, etc. Most of that information can be found on your social media, and with an easy-to-use algorithm, the criminals can create potential passwords with that if they don't already have your password. And do not use the same password across different accounts and/or websites. If a criminal is able to determine one password, if that is duplicated across other accounts, that criminal will have access to all those accounts. 4. Make sure your devices auto-update the operating systems and/or browsers. Software companies often detect vicious and intrusive issues and offer download patches to stop intrusions. Be sure those are done automatically. 5. Don't use public Wi-Fi. Ever. Sitting at a coffee shop, hotel lobby, airport, library, conference center, etc., is an open invitation for criminals to monitor your activity and hack into your device. On your device, do you store passwords for certain sites that auto-populate when you enter your username? Public, free Wi-Fi is the common gateway to criminals hacking your devices and accounts. Criminals, once they hack your device while you are using a public Wi-Fi, they will quickly gain your passwords. Those passwords might give them access to your email accounts, as well as your online banking, credit card accounts, financial accounts, and more. Just think in terms of how many passwords are stored on your device. One way to avoid the hacking is to use your phone's mobile hotspot, a mobile broadband network device from your carrier, or use a virtual private network, VPN. A VPN is means of encrypting your communications so the criminal will pass you by when looking for accessible accounts and go to the easier targets. There are some free VPNs, yet even the more expensive, robust ones are less than $100 a year. Free or public Wi-Fi is unsecure and often is the first gateway to your stored data. And once the criminal has access to your stored data, they now have a gateway to your client's information. These simple, almost cost-free steps might reduce your risk by 80–90%. Law enforcement agencies that deal with cybercrime tell us that these criminals will most likely bypass an account when the agent takes reasonable precautions. The criminals won't waste their time on someone who puts up a good defense, since they know that there are tens of thousands of others that are easier targets. If we protect ourselves, secure our devices, use stronger passwords, and don't use public or free Wi-Fi, we not only protect ourselves and our brokerage, but we protect the buyer and seller. If a buyer is defrauded and wires their funds to the wrong account, everyone loses, including the seller, both agents and most of the parties associated with the transaction. Keep in mind, If you go to the local coffee shop, use the free Wi-Fi, and conduct your business on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop without securing those devices and your communications, you are offering your data and your client's information to the criminals lurking about. The creepy person sitting near the window on their laptop is probably not checking their email or social media page. They are often checking your email. Brokers need to take better precautions regarding cybersecurity to protect their licensees and their clients. If the broker stores sensitive data on their server, including credit card information for the licensees, and their server is hacked, the broker potentially exposes all that sensitive data to the criminals. Brokers that take applications from their clients and customers and thus store that data on their server have an obligation to protect that data. Would a broker that holds sensitive data on their business server be obligated to disclose to the client how that material is handled? Would that be done in a privacy policy, or is some other matter? This is a consideration that every company owner should address. Any company that does rentals and/or property management has a higher exposure since those activities often require the landlord or tenant to provide sensitive data. Does the broker have a strong data security policy? Does the broker require the licensees to disclose their data security policy to their clients? Do the licensees understand their obligations to protect the client's data? These are all questions that should be answered by the brokerage and their licensees. Brokers should have a strong data and cybersecurity section in their policy and procedure manual. The licensees should be instructed on how to protect the client's data, both internally on the devices being used and security for those devices. Consider the licensee that possessed some personal and/or sensitive client data on their smartphone, laptop, or tablet, and that device is lost or stolen. If the device is securely locked and the data is behind strong, non-duplicated passwords, it will be far more difficult for the criminal to access the information. Yes, if a client has their information stolen as a result of a licensee being sloppy, then the licensee and/or the broker could be liable. If we protect ourselves, secure our devices, use stronger passwords, and don't use public or free Wi-Fi, we not only protect ourselves and our brokerage, but we protect the buyer and seller. If a buyer is defrauded and wires their funds to the wrong account, everyone loses, including the seller, both agents, and most of the parties associated with the transaction. Keep in mind, if you go to the local coffee shop, use the free Wi-Fi, and conduct your business on your smartphone, tablet, or laptop without securing those devices and your communications, you are offering your data and your client's information to the criminals lurking about. The creepy person sitting near the window on their laptop is probably not checking their email or social media page. They are often checking your email.